I've hired so many media buyers for my agency. Some of them were really great. Some of them were absolutely terrible. And let me tell you this, I've had everything happen to me. I've had people not show up to work, not run ad accounts. I've even had somebody bill me hourly. And when we checked the screen recordings, we found out that she was actually working on a completely different ad account, completely unrelated to my business, but I was getting the invoices and paying for them. Yeah. So when I tell you I've made every single mistake when it comes to media buyers, that's because I probably have. And what I want to do in this video is I want to share some knowledge with you so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. Now, the first thing that I'm going to say is this. If you're a CEO and you're considering letting go of your agency and bringing your ads in-house, unfortunately, hiring people, especially media buyers, is a skill that you're going to have to get good at. I struggled with this because I run ads professionally. I mean, we do Google ads. And so when I realized that I was going to have to let go of my ads account and let somebody else run them, I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. I could either be the person who runs the ads or I could be the person who runs the business. I couldn't do both. All right, so if you're brand new here, hi, my name is Devon Thomas, and basically I've been helping companies bring their ads in-house for the past 8 years. Now, what we're gonna discuss in this video is, number one, how much money you can save by bringing your ads in-house versus hiring an agency. Number two, we're gonna talk about how to find someone competent to actually run your ads and what it would cost, more or less. And last but not least, we're also going to talk about how to go about hiring, how to find that person, what questions to ask, and how to set up things so that they go smoothly. So this is a story I hear day in and day out from business owners. They hired an agency. The agency signed them down to a contract and the performance wasn't that good. The communication wasn't that good. And at the end of the process, maybe it was 3 months, maybe it was a year, maybe it was even 2 years, they were barely making any money off their ads. If that sounds like you, let me know down in the comment section below and tell me the story that you had with your agency. The first thing that I want to say is this. There are great agencies out there, but maybe you have a terrible one. And maybe you're wondering if it's even worth leaving that agency. What I've done is I've made this simple calculator. It's on our website. I'll link it down below so you can go and find it. So let's say, for example, your monthly ad spend is $20,000. And let's say, for example, your agency charges you a flat fee of $3,000, right? If you had a freelancer to do it in-house and you were paying that freelancer, let's say you were paying them $2,000, even with just that $1,000 difference, you would be saving $1,000 every single month, which means you can put that money towards more ad spend, aka more revenue for you, and you'll have an annual saving of $12,000 and a 3-year saving of $36,000. But it gets even better because we know that most agencies, they don't charge $3,000. They usually charge $5,000, $6,000, sometimes even $10,000 or $15,000. So if we crank this all the way up, and let's say we had an agency that was charging you $6,000 and you chose to switch, and let's just say we got a very good in-house contractor for $1,500 per month, you would be looking at a monthly saving of $4,500, an annual saving of $54,000, and a 3-year saving of $162,000. Not only are you going to have more money in your pocket, but it's the difference between owning your marketing and renting your marketing. All right, so now that we know how much money you can potentially save, let's talk about where you find this person and how you go about hiring them. Now, you can use whatever website you want. You can use LinkedIn, you can use Fiverr.com. My personal favorite is Upwork because when I use Upwork, it gives me a whole lot of control. It allows me to see screen shares of the freelancer's account. So while they're working, it takes a screenshot, I'd say every 10 minutes or every 20 minutes. And that's how I was able to find out that that previous freelancer, the one I mentioned earlier in the video, was screwing us over, is because I saw that she was actually working on somebody else's ads, but she was charging us for it. So those little things really help, especially when you're employing someone. The next thing that I also recommend that you check out on Upwork is the ability to limit the freelancer's time. Now, you can limit them to 10 hours a week or maybe 20 hours a week. And then after that, they can't charge you any more money. And what that helps you do is control your budget and really control how much you pay the freelancer. Now, there's two hiring processes. There's the old hiring process and then there's the new model. And I'll tell you a little bit about the old hiring model. The old hiring model is where you post a job, you try and get away with hiring a freelancer for the cheapest amount possible, right? And what usually happens is you end up finding the cheapest person in the room. You then proceed to the job and they end up tanking your ads account. Your company's not making revenue. You're constantly stressed out and you basically fire the person and you go and find another freelancer. And the same thing happens over and over again until you find the right person. With this process, you have to get lucky. You might have to go through 10, maybe even 15 different freelancers before you find the one that's for you. Not to mention, you're going to be losing revenue all the time because every new freelancer is going to want to apply their own ad strategy and they're going to ignore the ad strategy that was previously working. What you want to do instead is you want to use the new hiring model. And this is going to be perfect because it eliminates all of those headaches. You basically want to ask the freelancer two questions. The first question that you want to ask is, have you ever had a difficult situation in Google Ads where the client's account was not performing, and how did you use communication to solve that issue? And they can't just AI generate the answer to that question. They have to think from their own personal experience. And typically we found that when somebody says no, they've never ever had a bad situation with somebody, that's your liar. That's somebody who's not really going to show up. That's somebody who's not really going to do the work because they want to present themselves as perfect. So already that's a red flag over there. The second question that you want to ask, and this is going to tell you what type of freelancer you're dealing with, is do you get nervous when explaining complicated marketing concepts? If the person says yes, they do get nervous, then you know you're dealing with somebody who's a little bit more introverted, a little bit more empathetic. If they say they never get nervous when explaining complicated marketing concepts, that's how you know that you're dealing with somebody who's more confident. And it doesn't really matter if the person is more introverted or more confident. What matters is what this says about how this person is going to be running your ads account. We generally see that people who are more introverted, more empathetic, they are better marketers. They are better at understanding your ideal clients, and they'll go through extra lengths to make sure that they're connecting the ads to the right ideal client. When it comes to somebody who's a lot more confident, we find that those people are better at making decision in ad accounts. So they don't shilly-shally along. They actually just make a decision and they're willing to live with the consequences. And either one of these marketers is perfectly fine for your business, but you just have to choose which one of them you prefer. So the reason why we want to go through all of this effort is we want to make sure that we're hiring somebody who is a thinker and not just an order taker. All right, so now that you've found the right person to work with, you don't just take that person, say, here's my ad account, and say goodbye. That's another big mistake that people make. What you want to do instead is you want to discuss three things with them. You want to discuss what's important to you, what they'll be doing every day, and how you'll be measuring success. All right, so why is all of this stuff important? I mean, you're a busy CEO. Why can't you just give the person the ads account and just let them run it? Well, I want you to think about it this way. If you show somebody how to make a hamburger just the way you like it, they will always make it just the way you like it. If You just tell that person to go into the kitchen, make you something to eat. You have to basically gamble that that person understands your personal tastes and knows what you like. And I promise you this, half of the time, or maybe more often than not, they're going to come out of the kitchen with a dish that you don't really want. So you're basically gambling. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to gamble with our marketing and we don't want to gamble with our business. Let's tackle the first one. What's important to you? Every single business owner that I've seen do this does it wrong. They go and they set an unrealistic target and they think that somehow the new marketing person that they've hired is going to meet that target, and that's how they know they're good at marketing. So for example, you have a business that gets 10 leads a week. You hire a freelancer. You have this idea and you say, hey, you know what? If you're really good at freelancing, you'll get me 60 leads a week. It's never happened before. It's probably not going to happen with this person. It's probably not going to happen on the budget that you have right now. A more realistic thing to do is set up a baseline expectation. Now, this could be your ROAS, it could be your cost per lead, or it could be the amount of leads you want per week. But what you want to do is you want to say, to make my business viable, I need at least 10 leads per week, right? That way you and the freelancer understands exactly what the baseline performance expectation is. This is not your wish list. This is what you need to keep your business running. So that's the first thing you want to discuss with them. The second thing you want to do, and I've got a whole checklist where I train media buyers on this, I'll put it on the screen now, is what you basically want to do is you want to give them the reports that they should be checking on a weekly basis. So we've got this big list of reports that they should be checking and should be optimizing for in the ads account. This is very important because if they don't have this, they're not going to know what they should be doing day in and day out. And the chances are they'll get bored and they'll go out there and try and find more clients. You actually need to tell them the work that you need to get done. And last but not least, you talk about how you'll measure success. Now, going back to the earlier example, if you're that company and you want 10 leads per week, maybe you want to be a little bit ambitious and you want to go from 10 leads to 25 leads per week. You can set that as a target for them. And now they have the baseline and they have the target. So they know their minimum is 10 leads per week. And their maximum is 25 leads per week, or their target is 25 leads per week. And that makes it so much easier because they're not stressed out all the time because they have an unrealistic target. And you're not stressed out all the time because you have somebody who's making massive changes and now your ads account is dipping. All right. So I hope all of this information really helped you and helped you better understand how to hire a media buyer. So if you want to bring your ads in-house and you don't know where to start and you want somebody to basically just show you what to do, what I want you to do is just book a free audit with me down below. And what I'll basically do is I'll just help you understand where you are in the transition phase. And I'll show you a couple of easy things just to make it simpler for you. So we've got checklists, we've got SOPs, we've got a list of freelancers that you can hire. I've basically got everything because for the past 8 years, I've been helping business owners run their own ads and get away from terrible agencies. So if that sounds like you, just book a free audit with me down below. Last but not least, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, let me know down below. And also, if you want another video to watch where I compare what you can get with Google Ads with $10 a day, $100 a day, and $1,000 per day, you can check out this video over here. I will see you on the next one. Peace.